everyone, welcome back to Sham Ball Pythons. Today we're just going to do a feeding video. I've not done a feeding video on the channel yet, and I do it weekly, so I figured, well, why not turn it into a video. It's not very original, but then again, I found that it's actually hard to come up with ideas for videos because everything is already out there on YouTube, and I don't just want to regurgitate what everyone else is doing. The stuff that I have uploaded, I've tried to put my own twist on it. Any ideas you guys have would be fantastic in the comments or via my social media, because it can be hard to come up with ideas. But anyway, first of all I want to touch on the previous video we uploaded with Darren Hughes from Neighbours Constrictors. Thank you very much, Darren, for coming down. I'm wearing your shirt today, yours and Eric's. Hopefully you can get up here as well one day, Eric. But yeah, fantastic feedback I've had on it, and yeah, just really positive. And yeah, keep sharing it around, guys. It'd be fantastic for people to get eyes on it. Not only to see me, but to see Darren, because I know he's not on the camera as much nowadays. And yeah, he's a fantastic guy and has lots of knowledge to share with everyone. But anyway, so yeah, so we're going to do some feeding today. Most of the animals are going to get fed tonight. I do it so that I usually do 2 rodents to every snake, to try and avoid wasting as many rodents as possible. And also I've got some that are sort of in shed at the minute. And some of them will feed when they're in shed. You know, I'm going to offer a meal to the black pastel het pied in shed, because she sort of feeds anyway. But like the edgy calico and the cinnamon, I've not even got rats out for them, because to be honest, I know they won't eat. So there's no point in really wasting a rat. You know, I expect the edgy calico to come out of shed tonight, so I'll just offer her a meal tomorrow. It's not a big deal for me, and it's better for the snake because it means she doesn't miss a week's feed. So yeah. I feed mine every 7 days, but at the minute I feed my females every sort of 5, 6, just because it gets an extra meal into them at the minute every month. So for example, instead of doing 3 smalls and a medium every month, which is what I normally do, I'm doing 2 smalls and 3 mediums for the girls that sort of want it, because they get an extra meal every month and also a couple extra larger meals, because once they use those follicles and sort of give me eggs, I've not got the experience, as I've said, I never claimed to. But people have told me that, you know, they do lose a lot of weight. I mean, they put all that effort into the follicles themselves, so they are going to lose weight. So I want to get them up to a fantastic weight before they give me any eggs. And then once they've sort of had their eggs, they're still a smaller size, but they're still larger than what they would have been had I not been giving them a couple of extra meals before they laid. Hope that makes sense. I'll stop rabbiting now and we'll get into some feeding. So here we go, guys. The first animal we're going to feed is this NG pin yellow belly. I have no doubt that she'll feed because she's a bit of a monster when it comes to food right now. And there you go. So she's just having a medium there, which is fantastic because I'm hoping to pair her with the banana gravel, which is the next animal I'll feed. So this boy's a little bit of a powerhouse when it comes to food as well. See if he wants a large wiener. You gonna take it, boy? That's it. There we go. That's a fairly large meal for him, but as I say, I want to try and get into size for the end of this season. Do you want this, boy? There we go. So that's again a large meal for that male, but he sort of had a fluff last week and it didn't look like it sort of touched the size of the animal. And so for me, that's an indicator that I needed to move up a size to make sure they're getting the maximum from every meal. There we go. As you can see, the females right now are smashing their food as we come into the breeding season because they want to develop those follicles, as I mentioned at the start of the video. Come on, go. Normally she comes flying out for it, so I'm surprised she's even holding back, to be honest here, guys. There we go. I knew she would eat. I had no doubt about that bit. Do you want this, girlie? Do you want this? No. So in this situation, guys, I know the animal, and sometimes she'll take a small, but as you can see tonight, she's got absolutely no interest. I mean, the tongue's not even flicking. She's actually backing off the food. So what I'll do is I'll just close her up for now, offer this small to another one, and then I'll go back with a large wiener, because I know for a fact she'll smash a large wiener. Well, I say that, she should. Occasionally she doesn't, but normally she goes for a smaller meal. So she has more often sort of smaller meals, but builds the weight the same sort of speed then. Right, I have to be careful with these two guys because I know they can be a little bit food aggressive. There you go, see? Food aggressive, there you go, see? you've actually got the tongs there, guys, so I've got to be really careful here. I can try and get my tongs out, but I can also see the other male coming up for his meal in the background. I don't know if you guys saw that. As you can see, my males absolutely smash their food. It does not matter what they're doing, you know, whether they're breeding males or whether they're not breeding. My males absolutely smash their food. Unreal feeding responses from those two males every time, no matter what time in the year. I've had both of them, well, I had one since March and one since November last year. Never missed a meal. Honestly, fantastic feeders. Do you want a meal, girl? This girl can be quite fussy, so... I mean, you can see the interest, but sometimes she just, for some reason, won't actually strike at the meal. And she doesn't take it sort of... she don't drop feed either. So drop feeding, if you don't know, there we go. Drop feeding, if you don't know, is when you leave the rat in overnight. And she won't feed when she's drop feeding, and quite often she won't strike. It's actually quite rare for her to eat. As I mentioned in the video with Darren when I released it, she's the same weight as the pastel pied, who is 1.2 kilos, but she's only 500 grams because she is such a picky feeder. She's probably the worst I've got here, but as you can see, even my worst still has a fantastic response whenever the animal decides to eat. I have no control over that. They decide when they want to eat, and that's fine by me. There we go. That's a good response right there. Don't actually know if I'll be able to get her in. Come on, girl. Yeah, a little bit of a tight squeeze, but as you saw me talking to Darren about the other day, you can see the feeding response. She doesn't need a tub upgrade right now. I could move her up into one of these tubs and she decides not to eat. So I might as well leave her in there until I really am thinking that that's the maximum size I want her to be in there at. I should imagine this girl will eat. Yeah, there we go. Wonderful response. Do you want it, girl? Yeah, there we go. So there we go, guys. That was feeding some of the SBR Pythons collection. Most of them have eaten, to be fair. There was a couple there that I didn't expect to eat. The pied hasn't been feeding perfectly, but she did lock 3 times in 2 days with the super edgy fire het over the last week. So that's probably why she started feeding, because she's really getting into breeding mode now and knows that she needs to eat. The special, as I've said, the special and the mystic, sort of a couple that don't feed every week, so I'm really happy that they've eaten. But of course, because they've eaten, I've not got enough rodents out for some of the others, but that's always the way it goes. The normal het hasn't eaten in a couple of weeks, not sure why, you know, it does happen. The edgy calico, the cinnamon are in pied, I didn't expect them to feed. The black pastel I did try, I've not shown it, but I did try a couple of times. I thought she was gonna go for us, and I will keep offering the meal to her, to be honest, later on, when it really gets dark and it is nocturnal, because it's only about 7 o'clock right now. I just looked at a watch that isn't there. So I'll try and get it about 11 o'clock, midnight, just before I go to bed, just to see if she's interested then. But all I'll do now, sort of just to end how I do it, is I don't actually know the date. What is the date? It's a good point. 25th. So what I'll do is all of the animals that have just eaten, I'll just write 25 on their tub, which is today's date. Because as I've said, I like to leave 48 hours for regurgitation. I'll go through do that in a minute. And it's crucial for me to leave that because I don't want the regurgitation. So that's why I go and write it on there, because when I'm cleaning 20 animals, and God forbid when I go further and I start breeding and the hatchling racks are full, I don't want to be handling animals that I've just fed. The only other thing that I'll do is I'll quickly point it out because I do think it's important. I do like keeping records. Reptile scan. I don't know if my brother can capture this on the camera if I bring the camera up close. But all I have to do is that getting caught? Yeah. So all I'll do is go along, and that's what these QR codes for. So I'll just pull one off. So you just scan the QR code like that, and all I do is I don't have to take it off, but all I do is I scan it, and it brings up the animal. Then all I have to do is press feed, and like for example this animal refused. So I've just put refused an S, which is a small. So what I'll do now is I'll just go through and using the scanning method that is with ReptiScan is I'll just scan them. So the pied, I'll just scan the pied like that, and then I'll just write feed, and she took a medium, so I'll put it in the books that she's had a medium, and that's all I've done. So that's 2 of the animals done. I've just got to do the other 18, and that's it. That's how I sort of, how a feeding night goes here at SBL Pythons. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, hit the subscribe button, turn the notifications on, and yeah, I really appreciate all the love and support I've been getting, and have a fantastic day, guys.